So hello, today I'm at St Margaret's Church in Stanford Rivers in Essex, and I'd like to talk to you about the history of the church and the village. So this is the second time I've been here. The first time was in the winter and the church was closed, so I'm taking this opportunity to show you around as it's open today. So Stanford Rivers is not far from the Ongar Road to Romford. Now Stanford, the name, comes from Stone Ford or Stony Ford. So there would have been some sort of river here. It's a rural farming community, as you can see. Now from the 11th to the 16th centuries, the lords of the capital manor were not resident here. Now in 1548, Stanford Rivers was given to Queen Mary. Now before 1066, the landowners were the Lewin family, and after the conquest, the priests Eldrick and Eustace of Boulogne were the lords. So you can see we're standing at a major junction here. If I pan around, you can see there's another junction here. I'd just like to show you one of the old entrances. You've got quite a few yew trees in this cemetery around this area. And we've got one of the old iron gates. Just imagine how many people have used this very gate. Now we've moved over to the main entrance and we've got another gate. And what you notice is, first of all, there is a small sort of larder for residents of the parish who need extra help. It's really kind. And as we move forward, we have, walking through the cemetery obviously, you come across these avenue of, I don't know if they're plane trees, but I'm always struck by this quite amazing family tomb of sorts, made in iron. There's a family vault of Augustus Berkeley. And then if you look up here, looks like an old gas lamp's been converted to a electric lamp. We shall walk through this amazing avenue. It's really quite interesting because the ground, I'm trying to work out what colour it is. It's almost like a lot of seeds, as they fall they spin. Just show you this yew tree. Now these yew trees, this is probably about 300 years old or a bit more. These yew trees can go more or less to 1,000. Some have been known to go up to 2.5. What we're looking at here is a 12th century church with additions over the centuries. So the nave, which we're looking at in front of us, is actually 12th century. And if you look up the top, you've got the original Norman window. Now the walls are actually 3 feet thick, so it's more or less about 1 metre. we just go around to the south side, we can see another Lancet window. Now what we do is we'll go inside and we shall have a look from inside. And we're just going to go inside now. This is an 1817 gallery and porch from the outside, and above that we have the belfry, and you'll see the structure inside of the heavy oak timbers. Now the belfry is 15th century. So it's a bit stiff, so make sure you give it a proper turn. So we come into this double door porch. I'm going to take off my cap. Now we're inside the church. I'd like to show you this font here, which I found quite interesting. Now this is 13th century, and you can see it's raised on a series of columns. So I'm guessing this would be early English, and you can see the sheer size of it. So this would be designed for full immersion of a baby. Now there's a really nice painting in the background there, and then you can actually see the beams or the supports of the belfry. You can see how just big they are. Now they rest on a massive sole plate here, which I'm guessing is over 14 inches square. And as you come in, you've got the usual postcards and things that you can purchase. It does say there's a church history book, but I couldn't see it. And they've got a prayer book there, a prayer box. Donations are received gladly. Right, now what we're going to do is walk up the stairs, put the lights on, to the gallery. And you can see the timber as it goes up, supporting the massive belfry above. It's all kinds of metal work, iron work, and you can see diagonal cross braces there. And this is the window above the porch, and then above that we've got the small Norman window. And if you look, you can see the Lancet window. So this is the one on the south side. You see how thick the wall is, 3 foot thick. And again, purely built for defensive positions, and I guess that would go up to the actual bell mechanism. What I found interesting was the bell rope here. Like an aperture here. See, it looks like originally there would have been a second bell. Now, as I said before, in 1817 this was all opened up here. And if we look down, the main nave, you can see the massive beams with the king post above. And if we go in a distance, we can see the amount of work that's been done on the chancel roof. Now, interestingly, we'll see more from when we get down there, but you see those 3 windows. So that was all added as an extension. So basically the chancel was rebuilt in the 14th century, and the roof was raised between the 15th and 16th centuries. So that's where you got the extra windows, and they're all bricked up. So we shall have a look downstairs. You can see another massive sole plate where the timbers are resting. Now, what I have noticed, these pews, it looks like the older pews here to the rear. If I go this side, now, without researching, these look quite similar to Great Bursted pews, which are about 15th. And you can more or less see it's just a solid plank of oak. And then you can see the old Norman window there. Now, as we move down, I'm guessing these are 18th century box pews. You can see where they get the name, and then you can literally, each one's got its own little latch. We've got a most beautiful window here. And if we move onto this box pew, we have a very old brass memorial. Now, I'm not sure if these are boys or girls, but there seems to be 6. Because this is definitely a girl, and that would be the mother, I guess. I think it's in Latin. No, I don't think it is. I think it's in English. Now we're standing at the pulpit, and you can see just how crooked it all is. Fantastic workmanship. And then we've got the 2 memorials for the fallen of the First World War and the Second World War. If we go around here, we can see what it would look like from the top. Look at those old hinges there. Now we're standing in the chancel itself. So this is originally 14th century, but remember there would have been a chancel here before. and then it was extended 15th, 16th centuries. So I did notice we've got some nice tiles, and then you've got a family vault, or a vault underneath this, it says. Most unusual, you've got an array of different size windows. And this would be where the choir would sit. If we go this direction, we can see it better. So they put this in to let in a lot more light. And now we're faced by the high altar area. Now, these communion rails have turned balusters added after the Archdeacon's visit of 1683, when it was ordered that the communion table should be railed in. This was because dogs were urinated on the high altar area. Now look at this lovely old iron strap hinge. If I just, you can see how thick that oak is. Floor, these are from the Peter family, which are residents down my end, and there's a lot of Peters buried here. So there must be some family connection. Guess they're owning land here. It's a really nice carved, I don't actually know what they call that, and a beautiful window. Now in 1606 the Archdeacon visited St Margaret's Church, and he found broken windows and stonework and dirty walls. In 1683 church wardens ordered the repairs of the porches, and the actual steeple was tilting. So I guess that's why he's brought this. Look at that, you can actually see where it's been handcrafted. So in 1552 this old church had 3 bells, and one of them was a yard deep and a yard wide. And it also had 2 Sanctus bells and a handbell. Today, 2 bells survive. There's a 1609 and a 1662. Now, one was damaged in 1944 and out of commission, and the third one was sold for scrap in 1806. And if you look down here, it's one of the old bells. Just gives you an idea of the actual size of it. And you can see the striker there. Just come around the other side just to get a closer look, because it's quite rare you get to be so close to these. So you can see where the top is all cast, where that would pivot. And it looks like they've got the makers. Sometimes you have stamps on there. And you can see the sole plate there of the Belfry and the striker itself, all made in iron. Quite incredible. Now I found an ancient slab here, and it could be from Thomas Green and his 2 wives. Now, Thomas gave instructions to be buried in the chancel, and you can see period armour. So now we're going to leave this old church through the west door. We should take a walk around the whole church so you get an idea what it looks like. So it does say that in World War II, this south wall here was struck by, or the blast from V1, I believe, or V2. You can see some interesting features from the past. Some sort of oven door, or a door, not sure. You can see the lovely countryside here. You can see how the old stonework perishes. You can see how that's been repaired. You see this old oak tree has been struck by lightning. And you can see how the fence has grown into this oak. We carry on the other side. And you can just see the sheer scale of this church. Showed this before. There's somebody buried here called Basil Sharp. Don't know. Now this old porch is actually very, very rare in Essex. I believe it's one of the oldest. And you can still see Now, also buried here is, I haven't got the guy's name written down, but he wrote very many famous songs from World War II, including Leaning on a Lamppost, which George Formby famously sang. So today this old church is still carries out baptisms, weddings and funerals, and it's very active in the community. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much.